you doing? Happy Pride, everyone! 2 years ago, I did a reading vlog, Reading the Rainbow, which meant that I read a queer book for every color of the rainbow, basically. So like red, yellow, orange should go before yellow, green, blue, and then purple. And then I also did a pink book. I did that because I thought it would be fun to celebrate Pride. And you know what? I've been wanting to do another video kind of like celebrating Pride, but you know, it's very difficult to find all those books about the rainbow. Like, I struggled so much, and there were some couple of stretches in there when it comes to like coloring, so I don't want to do that again. Also, 7 books in one reading vlog sounds exhausting. I yap too much lately, I don't know. Back then I didn't yap so much, now I do. So 7 books is a lot for one video. I don't want to put you through that. So what I thought would be fun is I have quite a few June releases that I got from True Neck Alley that are queer in some way or another, so I thought it would be fun to read 3 of those in this video, so you know my thoughts on 3 new queer releases this June, and that way we can celebrate Pride. I don't fully know yet what I'll be reading this video because, like I said, I have options. I don't know what I'll be in the mood for. All I know is that I'm starting off with Nobody in Particular by Sophie Gonzales. Because I've been so hyped for this book. Like, it's unbelievable. This is a YA contemporary romance that I love Sophie Gonzales so much. Like, she's one of my favorite authors, especially YA authors. And every time I read a synopsis to one of her books, I'm like, oh my god, that sounds exactly up my alley. So I'm very excited to read this one. It does have like a very small blurb on Storygraph, so let me read it to you very quickly. Young royals meet Her Royal Highness in a sapphic romance that follows American-born Dani as she receives a scholarship to board at the prestigious Brampat College, where she finds herself falling for the Crown Princess Rose. Doesn't that sound so much fun? So, and like right up my alley too. So we're definitely reading that in this video. We're starting that off because I can't contain myself. I need to read this right now. I'm not gonna lie right now, but I'm struggling so hard, and it has nothing to do with this book. But we just started a heat wave and my brain is melting. Like, definitely melting. Like, I'm struggling to function. But I did get a quarter of the way through Nobody in Particular, and I'm having fun with this. So far, I definitely feel like we are in the setup stages for this book, and I don't particularly know how to feel about Rose just yet, but I am liking the setting and the dynamic between the 2 characters. I do think it's really fun, and I love Dani as the main character. So, and I am curious to like learn more about Rose and kind of like delve into her a bit more, because obviously there's complicated stuff going on there, but I don't know. I'm not fully sold on her the way I am with Dani just yet, but that could come. But I'm having fun. It's just that my brain is just not cooperating today. So I don't know how far I'll actually get in this book today, but I am hoping to at least read a bit more of it today. I turned off the big light, I'm sorry, but I don't need to know how to heat sorts in my life. But I am halfway through Nobody in Particular, and I hate to say it, but I don't like it. I mean, I don't dislike it either. I feel like this is gonna be 3-star for me probably, but I just think the romance is just extremely underdeveloped. Like, all of a sudden these 2 characters had feelings for each other, like I don't know where, and I don't know, it just isn't working, especially considering there's like a big conversation we're having in the book right now is about the fact that for Rose it is expected, of course, because she's gonna be the queen and like she doesn't have any siblings, so she's expected to, you know, marry a man, have a kid, so she can't really be gay. So you know, they're having talks about like, you know, the fact that she will always have to hide her identity in a sense, and like these conversations feel so weighted but by nothing because we didn't really get to see them develop feelings for each other, or like, you know, have any of that emotional stakes that you typically have for the romance. And it's moving so very quickly and it's making all the rest of it kind of fall flat a little for me. So yeah, I hate to say that though because I was so excited for this book, but it is feeling like a 3-star, sadly enough, which isn't a bad rating at all. But like for a book that was like one of my most anticipated books of the year, that is a bit disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so I have finished Nobody in Particular. And I don't want to give this update because this ended up being a 2-star. I don't want to say it. I really don't. But I really don't like this book. I didn't hate it, so it isn't a 1-star. Don't worry about that. But I also really wasn't a big fan of it. I really, in the second half, just grew to dislike these characters. I feel like they're so self-centered and like over dramatic. And part of that is that nothing gets developed in this book. We just change things from one scene to another, and therefore like characters' reactions can feel very over dramatic and like out of nowhere, because like we saw none of this happen, and it's like, what are we doing? And I'm still not a fan of the relationship. I feel like it was extremely underdeveloped again, and it felt very codependent and slightly toxic. And you know, there is a side character who, by the way, justice for Molly. She's the only one with a brain, because there are definitely points in this book where she's like, hey, maybe this behavior isn't healthy, but she says it in a way nicer way, and she just gets shit over every time that she does that. I'm like, no, girl, she's right. Listen to her. She has a point. I don't know. I got pissed off by that. I also think that when it comes to like the antagonists, I guess, in this book, they feel very cartoonish. Like, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan. And yeah, I really hate to say this because Sophie Gonzales is supposed to be the author for me. Like, it's supposed to be an author by authors, an author who gets me. And this sounded so right up my alley, and I thought it was bad. So, there we go. I don't want to talk about it. I really don't. Not on Bright Months. Hello, no, long time no see. Actually, not that long. It's only been a couple of days. But we hit the peak of the heat wave, and you did not want to see me. I felt sweaty, I felt gross, and I did not want to be on camera. Luckily, the book I was reading, I didn't have actually that much to say about, so I don't feel as bad not updating you throughout. But I read Backhanded Compliments by Chandler. This is a adult contemporary romance with a speculative twist, as it follows our two protagonists, Juliet and Luca, who are rival tennis players, and they for the first time play against each other in the finale of the Australian Open, I believe. It's like a very important tense match, and at the end of it they go to shake hands because good sportsmanship, and their wrists lit up because turns out they're soulmates. Because in this world almost every person has a name on their wrists in silver, and then when you touch your soulmate for the first time, it like becomes like black and like very prominent. And yeah, turns out these rival tennis players are actually soulmates, and it's a romance book. That's all there is to it, really. I let her give it 3 stars. I thought it was fine. I had a fun time reading it. The reason why I wanted to pick this up is because I'm not gonna tell you too much about my fanfic preferences, because that's between me and my web browser history, but I love a soulmate AU, so I was very excited to see that translated into like a regular novel, and I thought that aspect of this book was by far the coolest. I thought it was very interesting, especially considering not every person in this world has a soulmate, so the discussions around that was also very interesting, and also the small little hints at seeing how history is also affected by soulmates. I thought that was fun as well. So that was easily my favorite part of this book. But for the rest, I just kind of felt a bit meh about it. I feel like this book is very mid, very enjoyable, but also very like slow, I would say. It dragged out quite a lot, and I feel like we could have gotten things moving a bit quicker. That being said, though, I do think the romance is a bit underdeveloped, and the conflict between them feels very repetitive. So there's that, but I didn't dislike my time reading it, just opinionless about this book, which is again why I don't feel that bad not updating you over the past couple of days, because I didn't really have that much to say about this book. But I did also start another book, and that is Winning It With You. I forgot the author's name, but I'm sure you'll just have seen that. By the way, I think my hair looks hideous wet. Oh my god. Anyway, you just have to deal with it, because I'm not putting a blow dryer to this when it's this hot out. I apologize. But Winning It With You is a book about this guy named Archer who was gonna participate in like a reality TV show. that is basically The Amazing Race. It has a different name, but it's basically that show. And as he's in the airport about to leave, his boyfriend actually breaks up with him, and they were supposed to do this together, but he's like, fuck it, I'm still gonna do it. And he comes across Theo, who is a pilot who has just been put on a required leave of 3 weeks because he has just been working too much, and the company that he works for is like, you're not flying anymore. That's not good for your mental health, so we're gonna put you on like a required 3-week leave. And they cross paths at the airport and basically decide to do this reality TV show together, pretending to date, of course, because the TV show is expecting Asher and his boyfriend, so they're pretending to fake date and going on this competition show together. And yeah, I'm 25% of the way through, so quarter ill, and I'm having so much fun already. Like, I am reading this so quickly, which is exactly what I needed, because I could feel myself starting to get into a slump, which honestly, it is May 25th and I've only read 5 books this month, so maybe I'm already in that slump, but I really was starting to feel it. So the fact that this is being like a quick, fun, breezy read is exactly what I needed right now, so I'm very excited about that. And yeah, I don't really have that many strong opinions about it so far, but I'm having a really fun time, and I'm definitely very hopeful to see where else this book is gonna go, and hopefully it will maintain this momentum, because I don't want this to be a negative vlog. It's supposed to be Pride Month, it's supposed to be a fun time, and so far it hasn't been. So let's hope this last book is. So I thought heat wave 5 we were doing better, because yesterday the weather was actually quite nice. It was still warm outside, but like good warm, but turns out we're ramping back up. So I hate my life, I really do. I'm not built for this weather, I'm really not. I know people are gonna be like, oh, but it's not even that bad if you look it up, but like, I promise you, I am not made for weather like this. Really, I'm not. And I just hate my life every time it gets this way, and it's like really early on in the year for us to have this like hot of weather. Why is my hair just not cooperating? But anyway, this is a reading vlog, not a weather vlog, so you probably just want to hear about my reading. I did get halfway of the way through Winning It With You by Pons, I believe the author is. I tried to remember, but now that I'm filming I already forgot. But I'm still enjoying this. My ponytail is like not even half of my hair is in it. I'm really enjoying this book still. I'm really just liking seeing like the different challenges that they have to do for the TV show, and then like also just seeing them work together as a team better. I should have a brush if I really want this to be good, but like, come on. I also just really like them just working as a team better, because you know they started this whole thing as strangers, so obviously they're not gonna be like the perfect team right off the gate, but like they are just getting better at like reading the other person, I guess, and challenges like these, and just working together better, and I like seeing that. I also, we are not getting a whole lot of like the competition stuff. Like, I mean, we are getting some of the challenges, but it's like very much focused on what they are doing and how they are developing as a team, rather than like what is the rest also doing and how are we doing in competition wise. So there's that, but I honestly don't really mind that too much. I really like what we're getting of the show. We do occasionally, there's like especially one duo that our 2 main characters kind of interact with a lot, and I like them. It's a mother-daughter duo. I really like the dynamic between that duo and our own, of course. The only kind of like complaints I really have with this book right now is that one, the romance feels very underdeveloped. Like, so far it is definitely more a bit lust-based than actual like feelings, but even then I feel like it kind of came a bit out of nowhere, and I wanted a little bit more development on that front. And then also I find it very hard to distinguish the 2 POVs. I feel like I constantly have to remind myself there's this dual POV, and it's not, I don't actually know if it's like actually each chapter it alternates, but it is alternating chapters, and I'm having a hard time sometimes kind of reminding myself whose perspective I'm in, because you just read so similarly, and I just wanted a bit more of a difference there, because they are quite different people, at least we are supposed to believe that. So the narrative voice shouldn't sound exactly the same, but it does, so that's kind of bugging me. But for the rest, I am still having a really fun time with it. I'm still reading it very quickly, so no complaints besides those 2 from me. Okay, I just finished Winning It. It's a 3-star. I know, I feel so cursed right now, but I do have to say I did enjoy this more than Backhanded Compliments. Even though it technically is the same rating, I definitely had a better time reading this. But I think it is just like a good palate cleanser book, to just something quick, fun to read in between like more difficult or like tense read, I would highly recommend it for that. I do think it's fun, but ultimately I do think the characters are a bit one-dimensional. Like romance isn't developed, as I said before, and I feel like towards the ending it kind of went off the rails for me a little bit, where I feel like the transitions between scenes just felt abrupt sometimes. We kind of forgot about like the whole reality TV competition thing. Like we barely spend time doing that anymore, which was weird because we were definitely still doing that. But we just had to start the chapter like, oh yeah, we did this and this and this task, and now we're doing this, something completely unrelated, which just felt off to me. And then the third eye conflict just was so stupid. So that also like ended my enjoyment a bit. But like, it's a 3-star, it's still fine. I would definitely recommend this the most out of all the books in this video. But yeah, it's been a flop. So that brings us to the end of this video. I read 3 new releases, a 2-star, a 3-star, and a 3-star. So not a vibe. And especially sucks because I was really excited for all 3 of these books. They sounded right up my alley, but they really weren't, sadly enough. And honestly, I wanted this to be a big Pride celebration video, but all I did was complain about how hot it was, and I didn't like any of the books I read. So let's just forget about this, okay? Okay. That we're gonna agree on that. This video never happened. So yeah, anyway, I'll see you out next time. Here I am again, the same old situation. Why does the God thing have to be so complicated? Should